And now that we are all seated and seem to be drying off, I'd like to ask you to help me welcome to the stage our first act of the night, Jack Grimes.
Hey, how is everybody doing though? That's fun. That's a weird opener, right? Like, it's like I'm inviting you guys into a conversation, except if any of you talk, I will be very rude. Like, I don't have a plan if somebody actually tells me how they're doing. That's going to be wild. I'm happy to have all the classic stand-up props up here, my wooden stool and unlabeled water bottle, and my exposed brick wall. And this is my first time doing like a real show, so that's fun. Yeah. That said, though, I'm not really like a stranger to jokes. I was raised by, I would say, funny people. My dad, for example, was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago. And like me, he's kind of a tall, lanky guy. And so a similarly built, tall, lanky stock boy comes around the aisle and spots my dad and says, "Hey man, do you have a hard time finding pants?" And immediately, impeccable reflexes, my dad goes, "Yeah man, I've been here for like an hour." Which I love, that's a great joke. What really drives it home for me is the fact that he made that joke, got home from the store, and was so proud of it that he told my mom about it, and then my mom called me on the phone to tell me about the joke. It's like 3:30 p.m., I'm in class. I get a phone call from home. I assume naturally that someone has died in a horrible accident. I duck out into the hallway sweating, and I pick up the phone, and my mom goes, "Your father made a joke at the Giant Foods that he really wants you to know about." That was great. Because usually the approval seeking in that relationship goes the other way. Here I was, having to tell my dad, "Yes, I am proud of you, good job." This really makes up for all those Pinewood Derbies we lost. My mom is funny in kind of a different way, in that every time I kind of learn something about her, I'm entertained. Like, I just found out over break that my mom was floor mates in college with Ty Pennington of Extreme Makeover: Home Edition, which is pretty wild, right? Apparently he was just as obnoxious back in the day. But it's got me thinking about that show, because Extreme Makeover: Home Edition is like wild, right? First of all, the name, Extreme Makeover: Home Edition. Like they were going to have a fleet of spin-offs, like Pool Edition and Driveway Edition, and they just never hand out. And then second of all, the same thing that they do every time to some poor kid. Because put yourself in these little shoes for a second and imagine being a child on Extreme Home Makeover. One, a tragedy has befallen your family. That sucks. You're processing that. You're in like middle school. And then a bus pulls up, and a guy in cowboy boots gets out, takes a knee, and asks you what you're into, and then like a trickster genie, whatever the first thing you think of is when you're 11 years old, you have to live in a room made out of until you move to college. Could you imagine, like, Home Makeover is a show that maybe more than anything else, I want a follow-up series to, where we just check in on these families and we're like, "So how's that extremely made-over house treating you? You guys still liking it?" Imagine somebody trying to come home with you after prom and you have to shoot them down because you know that if they see the fuzzy giraffe print wallpaper that Ty hooked you up with when you were 12, they're gonna go home. No one has ever boned in an Extreme Home Makeover.
But that's my mom, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to like punch down on my upbringing. I think it was good. I grew up in an area of the country in Pennsylvania that the locals call Pennsyltucky. And I don't want to be mean, but it's pretty corn heavy, if you know what I mean by that. It was, you know, so you're growing up pretty poor in a very rural area, which is a great combination if you like jeans 2 other siblings have already worn. Tell me, puberty happened to me twice? Woof. I went to a pretty small high school. I graduated with about 120 kids, and that's a fun dynamic because everybody knows everybody for that long. Like, we all graduated with a nickname we hated. You'd be passing people in the hall and you'd be like, "What's going on, Logwood? What's up, Clown Dick?" It was me. I also grew up in a town where there was exactly one place to have a birthday party, which was, of course, the Great American Chuck E. Cheese's. So I was there as many times a year as I had friends, which was like 3, but that's a lot to go to a place like that. It's overwhelming. It's such a like weird like early 90s pitch for a business. Like, I would have loved to sit in on that board meeting where the guy is going, all right, you guys know about arcades? It's gonna be pretty much like that, but we're gonna have subpar pizza and a rat. Is it gonna be sanitary? Oh, no. Yeah. One of our big investors actually is Purell, so we're helping them out big time. I actually, when I was writing this set, I went to the Wikipedia page for Chuck E. Cheese's, thinking there would be something funny there, and I was not let down, because very early on in the process, I guess, the creators established that the E stands for entertainment. And that's pretty wild, because what we're led to believe by that is that this 6'4" foam rat's full Christian name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. I've been thinking about going back there. I don't know why, but I think maybe, and it absolutely would not the more I think about it, but I had the idea that it would be a heroic experience to go back to your hometown Chuck E. Cheese and just like absolutely trash at everything. Kids peeking at you over the back of the Jurassic Park chair, and they're like, did you used to come here? I think I recognize those jeans. You go up, you get a big armload of like 1 million tickets, and you lay them down on that grimy counter, and you get that BMX bike that's been up on the wall since 1993, riding off into the sunset, knees hitting you in the face. It might also be funny to just go the opposite direction and, you know, greatly disappoint a restaurant full of children. To hammer away at skee-ball and block stacker all day and then put a bunch of tickets down on the counter and destroy that moment of anticipation with like, can I get 1 million spider rings, please? Let me get 250,000 Chinese finger traps. My truck is out front. While you load those up, I got a quick round of laser tag. I think laser tag is a powerful metaphor for our society, right? No, and hear me out. Because at the beginning of every round of laser tag, you take that vest with the lights and you voluntarily put on yourself the thing that makes you vulnerable. And also, if you go in nude, you are untouchable. So now I'm down here in Boone, which I love, cool town. It's a little different though. Like it's so easy to get fat really fast in Boone. Like it happened to me, just because there's garbage food everywhere. And I hate it about myself. I'm such a sucker for like limited time items, you know. Like, I got back into town Sunday from Thanksgiving, and not immediately, but soon enough that I was still ashamed of myself, I went to Taco Bell just to see what was up. Because going to Taco Bell for me is like, it's like looking your ex up on Instagram. I never come out of there feeling great, but every once in a while I'm like, man, I wonder what they're up to in there. I just walk in, I don't look at the menu because I'm a pro, and I just go, hey, give me the new thing. Whatever you guys most recently came out with, I'll eat it. And it's always, I've never been let down by this request, because they're always like, yeah, we made a burrito out of a baby doll. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I eat it like a chump. I'm like, yeah, this is food. This is taco crime. There's no doubt in my mind that this is how I'm going to die. One of these days, I'm going to drive by Cookout, and the sign's going to say, try our new pill shake with pills. And I'll be like, I don't want to miss out. In a lot of ways, though, Boone reminds me of my rural hometown. For example, truck guys. I think we all know them. And the easy joke to make there is like, oh yeah, he's got a big truck because he's got like a little ween. And that's insane, right? Because it's not like you go into, the truck store, I guess it's called a dealership. You go into the dealership, and then you just like whip it out, and there's like a chart on the wall, like a Payless shoes, and it's like, here's what wheels you can get based on your car. That's insane. And if that was the case, everybody would try to get the smallest possible wheels. It'd be like a bunch of shopping carts out there squeaking around. What's different about truck guys in Boone, though, is every time I see one of them go by, on the back somewhere is a vinyl sticker with the guy's Instagram on it. And I guess as far as things go to be like hardcore into, it's pretty benign. But like, that thought process is so alien to me to see and hear and feel. I mean, a truck like that is just a feast for the senses. But to be subjected to that and then go, yeah, I want to see that again from different angles. Yeah, I want to know what this guy's about. Because I'll tell you what that guy's about. It's that you just saw. That's 100% of it. Car stickers in general, though, I've never really understood. Like, even if I agree with them, I don't understand the discussion you're trying to start there. Like, I've never been like, oh, hell yeah, dude, great opinion. You know? I guess much like the truck thing, the thought process of like, yeah, I want everybody who's ever behind my 2005 Acura to know exactly how much I like Doctor Who. Like, what kind of conversation are you trying to start? My favorite car sticker, or car decal that I've ever seen in my life was at a flea market in Dover, which was it was a license plate frame that said on it, "fart loading." And that's buck wild for a couple of reasons. If it's referring to your car's farting at all times. That's how an engine works. And if it's referring to you, it's gonna have to be pretty bad for me to care in the next car behind you. Boone pretty frequently is home to my favorite car sticker combination of all time, which is on the left side a "Don't Tread on Me" snake, and then on the right side a cop flag. I think you have to pick a side on this one, dog. You can't say like, "Don't tread on me," unless that's your job, in which case, please go to town. I will finish this Facebook post at a later date. That's screwed up, man. I think we as a generation, we messed up big time when we like taught our grandparents how to do the internet, thinking it would be like a fun bit, and now they're unraveling our society with it. Like, I'll get a call from my grandma and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, did you see this? Morgan Freeman says Hillary should go to jail." I'm like, "What? You're 80 years old! You're supposed to dispense pointless anecdotes and Werther's Originals, not state propaganda." That's it for me, thank you.